Namaste. This is Michelle Skaletski-Boyd. It's important you understand that even though I am certified with the International Medical and Dental Hypnotherapy Association, I am not a doctor, nor should any part of these experiences be construed as medical diagnosis or advice. Most importantly, follow your inner truth and enjoy the experience, come what may.
Namaste, it's Michelle Skaletski-Boyd, your soul journey guide. Many of you have come to me and you've asked me, how do I make more money? It's very important as you co-create your reality that you begin to move out of the old perception and move into a new one. And so I'm going to walk everybody through a guided meditation. So money is a representation of how much I love myself. So how much love are you willing to receive? I remember I wanted a new floor. My husband and I were living about 6-7 hours from where we are now. And when we moved into this house, the house had a kitchen carpet that was pretty disgusting. The previous owners had a pet, and the pet had soiled the carpet again and again, and so the carpet was very nasty. And so my tangible why was so we can allow our home to smell nice, right? My ego wanted a nice home, one that I could be proud of, and that kitchen carpet was not something I could be proud of. Yet I knew that I also needed an emotional why, a spiritual why. And so I began to imagine my kitchen with this new floor. And as I imagined it, I saw it as a gathering place. A place I could meet friends for tea, where we could talk and laugh and dream. A place where we could share meals and company with this sturdy floor beneath our feet. I highly recommend you take this audio with you the next time that you exercise. Give yourself permission to feel into the level of success that you have capped yourself out on. And then move through your comfort zone. Lean into the dream. So, how do we open our receptors so that more money, more love can open into our life, can flow through us, so that you can experience that currency in a reliable, loving, consistent, safe way? You lean into the dream. And so what does it feel like? What does it feel like to lean into the dream? Now, some of you have had glimpses. You've had a month where you met quota, you did really well, or you had the opportunity to stay in a 5-star hotel or to travel because someone else gifted you the trip or you won the trip at work or whatever, right? We're giving glimpses. Or some of you only know it through a book or you know it through a TV, but you have somewhat of an idea of what it is. Here's something that I would like for you to do is step into it, lean into it, and imagine, what does it feel like? Now we're going to start small. So close your eyes and take some deep breaths. What does it feel like to have $1? Now some of you are saying, oh my gosh, this is so easy. Yes, what does it feel like to have $1? Notice the feeling. Now notice the feeling to have $2. Now let's double that to $4. Notice the feeling. $8. So what does it feel like to have $8? What does it feel like to have $16? $32, $64. Okay? And some of you are like, oh, I can feel this, right? Now let's go a little higher. What's it like to hold a $100 bill? Now let's double that to $200, $300. Now imagine that you have a bunch of $100 bills and you're now counting to see how much cash you have. 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, 1,000. How does that feel? And notice that that's just one stack. And now we're going to do that again. 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, another 1,000. That's $2,000. What would you do with that $2,000? It's free and clear. You can do anything you want with it. What would you do? Notice, are you wanting to give it away? Some people want to give it away. And bless your heart if that's you. But ask yourself, why am I giving it away? Is it because I believe more is coming? Or is it because I don't want anything to do with it? Because it's going to leave me. And so now I'm going to be the one that leaves first. And this, again, has to do with relationships when you're young. So stay with it. $2,000. Give yourself permission. It's safe. It's okay. It's here to stay. It's reliable. It's dependable. What are you going to do with that $2,000? I want you to lean into it. And now imagine it's $4,000. And now imagine that it's $10,000. 10 stacks of $1,000 all around you. Now, as you count that $10,000, just ask yourself, how much love am I willing to receive? Just notice, are you willing to take all 10,000? Can you lean into the dream? Can you feel into this level of abundance? Now let's imagine that that $10,000 is your monthly income. And now recognize that money is love. As you repeat to yourself and you feel into this, I am abundant. I am generosity. Money always takes care of me. Now, as you lean into the dream a little more, imagine that $10,000 is $10,000 2 times a month. 2 times a month, the $10,000 comes. Notice that your abundance, your receiving, and your generosity, your giving. And as you receive, you also give. Continuous flow, continuous love. I am abundant. I am generosity. How does it feel to have this money flowing in month after month? Lean into the dream. Just feel into the level of abundance, the level of generosity. A generosity is taking the energy in, trusting it is yours to own, because remember, it is you. Money is love. Love is you. So it's taking the energy in, it's trusting it is yours to own, and then doing with it what you will. Now, this is where many people can get a little stuck, but not you. You're going to move through this. This is where we're going to step outside of your comfort zone just a bit more. I want you to ask yourself, what would I do with my first $500? What would I do with that money? I remember when I first did this exercise, I wanted new tires for my car. Living in Montana, our winters can be brutal. And so tangibly, my why, because we want a why, my tangible why was so I could safely travel throughout the state in the wintertime. Feel comfortable, feel secure. So whatever your tangible why is, whatever you're going to do with that first $500, just take a moment. Give it some thought. Lean into it if you will. And then give it an emotional why, a spiritual why. In other words, with the tires for the car, it was so I can share my friendship and services in person. Hugging and smiling and laughing. So take a moment and do your own emotional, spiritual why. So that you can bring in even more feeling. And now ask yourself, what would you do with your first $1,000? So what is your emotional, spiritual why for your first $1,000? And now I want you to ask yourself, what are you going to do with your first $10,000? Now remember, I shared that mantra and movement with feeling are key. Recognize that you're always taken care of. You are abundance. You are generosity. Money is love. Yet I also asked you, how much love are you willing to receive? So now let's step into the 20,000. What would you do with the 20,000? For some of you, it's repairs of your home, or maybe getting a new car, or taking a trip Just notice what it would be and begin to feel into it. And now let's up that and imagine that it was 50,000. What would you do with 50,000? How could you transform your world? Now remember, you can easily and freely make your bills. And so we're going to take at least $10,000 every month and spend it on ourselves. Tithe generously in ways that make us feel good. And just notice as we serve and as we share how we feel. So just be aware of your feelings. And just notice, where is the point, your cutoff point? Just notice, where do you run out of ideas? In other words, if I had $100,000, if I had $200,000, if I had $300,000, if I made $500,000, if I was bringing in $1 million a year, clearing it after taxes, what about your life would change? See, many of us don't want to change our life when it really comes down to it. We like what we like. Some of us want to travel more, and some of us might buy new clothes or get plastic surgery or something we've been thinking about for a while, or we might help out our family, but where's the line? And wherever that line is for you, like, boy, if I had $1 million, if I had $10 million, if I had $20 million, everyone around me would be taken care of, and so would I. What would happen then if that money just kept coming? Then what would you do? And this is that point where we start to move you out of the comfort zone, and you ask yourself those deeper questions. If money was continuous in the same way that love is, how much love am I willing to receive? if money continued to come to me in all ways, again and again and again, over and over, what would I do? How would I change the world? What would I do that I haven't been doing now? And lean into that. If you're feeling stuck, I'd like for you to imagine that you have a star in the shape of 5 triangles. And give each of those triangles a distinct feel so that you can recognize that they're triangles forming a star. I want you to just imagine which way feels best. Are we going to go from top to bottom? Will we just go randomly? Are we going to go from left to right or right to left? Just notice what your truth is. And take those 5 triangles in whatever order and whatever way feels good and begin to flip each one so that each of the 5 triangles have tips pointed inward toward the center. And rather than think about it from your head, go down into your heart and start slow and keep going and going and going. And as you're going, imagine yourself slowly, slowly, slowly outlining that shape of all the triangles with the tips pointed inward in a counterclockwise way. In other words, you're taking your finger or your pencil or your pen and you're rotating it around that pattern, forming a circle in a counterclockwise way, moving from the top down to the left, down to the bottom, and then up along the right, continuing to do that, outlining counterclockwise. And you'll keep doing this until all the inner triangles disappear. What would you do with the $500? Feel into your spiritual why. What would you do with the $1,000? Remember and feel your spiritual, your emotional why. What would you do with the $10,000? The $20,000? One by one, by one, by one, by one, until only a circle remains. Now from here, notice how it is you can make a difference in the world with all the money that you bring in. Notice where your heart is, where your spirit is. Notice your gift of philanthropy, staying in heart space until you hit your point where you don't know what you do anymore. And then turn that circle clockwise, opening your receptors, recognizing you are abundance, you are generosity. Money is love. Love is you. How much love, how much money are you willing to receive? Breathe into it, lean into it. Keep feeling into all the money clockwise, all that you do and everything you'd feel being abundant and generous. And you know now that your family and your friends and you are all taken care of, and the money just keeps coming in. Notice now what you do and how you serve, how you're helping the world. Good. Breathe into that. Second chakra is now opened and clear. Relationships with money, with self, that third chakra. Reclaiming, renewing. What does it feel like to have that abundance and that generosity, continuous, reliable? As I count backwards from 5 to 1, continue to send gratitude to your higher self, trusting and knowing that each time that you do this, more and more energy, more and more love, more and more openings occur. 5, taking a moment now, sending gratitude. 4, coming up a little more. 3, soon wanting to stretch and move, opening the eyes. 2, and 1. Good job, everyone. You are money. Money is love. And as to how much money are you willing to receive, it's all up to you. Namaste.